The Gunnaz Podcast.
Alright, what's going on, people? This is the Gunnaz Podcast, our first ever episode. My name is Dylan Gale, and this is.
Rellet.
Alright,
Dicanio. Rellet.
let's get straight into it. No waste of time.
Alright, so what do we think of Arsenal's window so far? So I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Arsenal really took us by surprise. They did things kind of like how they did last season, trying to get in the main target, like right before preseason started. And I think, me personally, I think that helped us to carry on into having a good season. So like, I remember when we beat Chelsea 4-0 back in USA. Like, I looked at the team and I was like, yo, this team is going to be like a serious team. But everyone was saying it's preseason. I just it's preseason. And I was like, no, bro. This team, I saw interchange, I saw Xhaka energetic. I was like, that's the first time we're actually seeing the Xhaka role as well. So, yeah, basically the window so far, I'm happy with it. Arteta and Edu got in their top targets. Um, Especially Declan Rice, as we'll talk about later on. Havertz was a surprise, but I think will be a quality addition. There's no way Arteta is going to spend 65 mil on Havertz and does not have a plan on how to use it. So I'll trust him. And Timber is definitely going to strengthen. Imagine like Timber, all of that backline, right?
Mm.
With Declan Rice and even Party together, bro. Like who is going to break down Arsenal? So I'm excited for the new season. I'm excited to see especially how the midfield and the backline will work. That's the main puzzle none of us know. So yeah, I'm happy with the window so far, and we're also hearing about um like Lavia, um Fresnado, other signings coming in. Like yeah, bro, it's looking up. How about you?
I think I like to press on being a very realistic fan still. Like, I feel like I'm even in one of our group chats with all the fans of the different clubs. Like, I feel like in terms of being an Arsenal fan, I feel like I get respected based off the fact that I know, like I can make a differentiation between a fan and between just somebody that love football, right? So for me, I think one of the issues that I have with Arsenal fans, especially with the Declan Rice deal, is I don't understand why people are saying we need to splash 100 million one time. Because basic business. What do you
Yeah.
do? You know,
Negotiate.
go buy a house and then just put on 100 million on a house, right?
Mm,
It's basic
yeah.
business. You go and you say 80, and then if the man them say 80, you just say later, right? So my thing is like, I think the way that they've handled it, I think Edu had a timeline of getting all the targets in by time they needed to travel to America. I don't even think Germany, right? And I think Arteta knows because Arteta needs to, kind of talk to the man, and say, "Oh, this is what's going on." I think he really rushed for Havertz first because he knew he was like, "This man need more time, right? He need to link up." But a man like Declan Rice just go and hit the ground. He has to hit the ground running. You don't pay 100 million. We're not Man
Like,
City.
not like he's gonna sit on the bench. He's gonna be starting that first game.
Exactly. So I guess in my head, I think so far, and I will say this with no bias, I think the window is 9.5 out of 10 so far. 100%.
Uh,
If you think about it, Xhaka is how old? What, 30, 31? Look
yeah,
at transfer fees for a 31-year-old. Xhaka is almost in the top 10. If not,
yeah, true. Yeah, in terms of the fee that we got him for, I agree. But I still would have kept him for one season. I'm not gonna kill Arsenal for letting him go because eventually I believe we'll have to let him go. But let's just wait and see what happens. I don't want to really comment too much on it.
mm,
Happy with the Havertz signing, hearing that he's going to be playing in midfield, but I still think unless we're going to be playing Rice in that role, then I'll feel more comfortable saying, okay, Rice in that role, Party in the six. But still have Georgie, a lot of people forget about that. who can fill in whenever if
It
needed.
hasn't left yet.
Exactly, party hasn't left. So yeah, we're covered in the six, and then he's still there. He won't be starting all the big games, but he's still here for this season. So we're pretty stuck in the sixth role. Um, my question is just that Jaka role. Will Declan play there for this season and then transition into the sixth when party phases out? Um, will Declan be rotating? Because think of it, if Declan is going to play six this season, we'll have four sixes then. So that would be Declan, Party, Giorgino, Elneny. I really don't think. I personally think we're gonna play Declan in the eighth one. That's just what I think.
But I think my issue is like football is no longer like 8 rule or 6 rule. Like we've so far moved away from all the kind of talk of Xhaka is going to be a box to box midfielder because Xhaka was doing so much more. Like think about it. If you're playing with Xhaka is doing all the transition control. Think about it. From Aaron Ramsdale collect the ball, the first man I'm looking for is who? Because Xhaka is in that little space between where the midfield is and between the defense, right? And then him run with the ball for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I'm just like, I don't even think that we need to, think about it as Xhaka was playing the 8, right? Xhaka was in charge of certain things that other players in our team can also be in charge of. Zinchenko can pick up the ball better than Xhaka. I trust Zinchenko to pick up the ball in those spaces that Xhaka is picking it up in, right? And I think I'm not really, I'm a German fan as you are,
You are.
Uh, Kai Havertz, I don't know still. I think the one game that I saw Kai Havertz and I was like, yo, that boy are good is when it really didn't matter. Remember the last game of the World Cup? When the man just licking the 2 goal them from range and just say, whatever. So if I
Well, he did go in a Champions League final. That didn't matter. So
no, I didn't watch that game thinking about like, I rate Havertz all that much. It's a great goal and everything, right? And the significance of the goal is there, right? But he was also what? He was Edison.
Well,
It was
no,
Edison.
like Mason Mount played the ball through from in there one half. He
Yeah.
ran through. Then he just shift the keeper and score. So
Yeah, but keeper was Edison, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was Edison. Like Edison is not no big keeper, right? especially at that time in those 1v1 situations. But I understand the pressure still. But for me, it's just like, I'm coming around. The only reason I said that is a 9.5 window is because it's the first time as an Arsenal fan that I feel like we can actually sell.
Yeah, true.
Think about the last time we could actually sell. And these are not your Van Persie or your Sanchez, right? You have Balogun, right? That is an academy youth, right? That is here.
But Xhaka sold for a good fee as well.
Exactly.
Well, we have Austin Trusty. He had a very good season on loan. And looking at the back line now, he won't be playing. So we'll be looking to cash in, I believe. So that's another potential 20 mil. We also have holding Elneny who might go to Besiktas. Pepe to come. Or at least can get 15 to 20 mil from him. Cut our losses, but we're at a different stage right now. So 15 to 20 mil for Pepe is pretty good. So yeah, bro. That's another very good point as well. The fact that we can still no. I remember one time no one wanted Arsenal players, and no one also didn't want to leave. Or pay the wages. So yeah, bro, it's good times right now. Very good times.
And that's the only reason it's a 9.5. Because finally, I can say as an Arsenal fan that we're actually acting like a big club.
Yeah, true.
It's the first time that I've said the fact that we cancel Xhaka for 20 million and the man is not going to terminate his contract, right? It just shows where you are. You sell Holding right now and you say 15 million. Right? It's like, and they have to pay. It's not like one time where I sell. You remember when we sell Mavropanos for how much? 3 million or something?
Like he went on he went on a loan with an obligation to buy the stayed up or something like that. And I believe that was a bit too early. He is a quality centre back who should have just held on a bit more. But also the Nelson contract as well. That was very, very good because he was speaking to other clubs. He was already out of contract. Um, and yeah, for you to convince, I don't know what Arteta is saying to these guys, but for you to convince him that hey, you're gonna be a squad player, and he's happy with being a squad player, happy with signing a new contract, playing backup at the age of 24. You see that he has tremendous confidence in himself, or Arteta is just very good at talking to
Arteta keep them secret, man. Like I don't know what kind of blackmail Arteta does, but Arteta have every man's secret.
every man ticket the man up, bro. So yeah.
That's
Um yeah, let's move on. Is Declan Rice worth the money? You can go first.
um, it's hard because I was watching. I think he had sent me the thing where the guy was explaining, or he posted on his status, like, you know, a player is worth what a club wants to pay, right? West Ham have no reason in their head to sell Declan Rice. Like, think about it. Is your club captain? This is only his first year being club captain. Is their first trophy in 40 years. Of course, Declan would have left that a free if they really went on with this, right? But think about it. Like, this is the first time. You know, we have dodged some bullets, Mudrik, but I'm saying that in terms of like, if the man then quote you 105 million, right? You're paying for a player that's going to give you at least 2 contract cycles, right? Because after this, how much 4 or 5 year contract, and the way that Arsenal is dealing with the contract situation, right? A player is doing well. What do you see happen? They get a new contract. We're not waiting until 1 or 2 years, right? So maybe even have 3 contracts in Declan Rice. I don't know, right? You have somebody that's a leader, right? And you have had somebody that also won on the European stage and he dragged his team to win,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Tell that midfield.
Exactly. And he could be the next England captain. Like you look on the England team after Kane, like who you really would want to give it to?
He might
Maybe
get it.
I don't know.
Walker too old, so I
Exactly.
think yeah,
So for me it's just like, at the end of the day, like you're paying it over a couple of seasons. And then if Declan Rice stays with us for 8 years, then what you say 10 million per year for defensive solidity, right? For a man
and
that
also
play how much
ball
position?
technical ability because a lot of people aren't aware. Have you ever seen that thing about coming deep inside his own half? Bro, it's one of the sweetest things to see, bro. He has good ball striking as well. A lot of people don't know about that. He can play centre back, can play midfield. If Arsenal ever have a centre back crisis, at least we know that hey, this guy can go there and deliver one shot. So that's been another thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration. One thing Arsenal lacked last season for me was a carrier from deep, and that's what he's good at. So we had party that could intercept the ball and let it go till the likes of Odegaard, Saka, those guys. He's very good at that. But he's getting older now. When he was at Atletico Madrid, he used to be that carrier, that person who dragged the team up when they were playing. He used to carry the ball. But now his role has changed and he's a bit older. Arsenal missed that. Xhaka doesn't have the athleticism. Like how there's a De Bruyne. I'm not comparing him to De Bruyne, but for City, you have that De Bruyne or that Gunnaz that can drive from deep with the ball. Arsenal didn't have that at all, and I think that would be one of the key things that we get from him. Is he worth the money? For me, yes, because it's basically as you said before. If the team value him at 105, I believe he is worth 105. Reasons why. He's a club captain, as I said. He just won a European trophy. He had 2 years left on his contract. Yes, it's ideal time for them to sell, but it's also the best time for them to sell. The leverage is almost like 50-50, right? Um, all of those attributes. The fact that they finished around 16th last season,
Mm.
right? And he's their best player. If it wasn't for them, mate, a lot would say, hey, they might have gotten relegated, right? So I don't know if a lot of people know finances work in England and in the Premier League. But if you're a team that's finished that way low down and you're about to sell your best player, you want to at least accumulate as much money that will give you that security, not only to replace your best player, but in the case that you haven't replaced him well, if you do go down, you're still stable. So that's the reason why Aston Villa put 100 mil release clause on Grealish, right? He was their best player. They barely scraped through relegation. They had to beat Arsenal later on, right? When Aubameyang was laughing with me and he running the ball to the wrist, right? So yeah, bro. The importance of the player is it. People think of like the value of a player with just their ability. No, if you're in business, if you're in entrepreneurship, it has to do with, or anything overall, it has to do with what the market is saying. So if West Ham saw Jude Bellingham, another England international, go for 100 and odd mil, there's no way they're gonna let go of Declan Rice for 80 mil. That's the market, right? The current market that we're in. And Declan Rice even has more costs, right? He's a more full fledged international. So they look at stuff like that, the market, how much a player is worth to that club, not in terms of like money, but one, his leadership, his ability, his influence on the team. If this guy leaves, what will happen to this team? So all of that plays a vital role into when a team puts a value on a player, not just their ability. A lot of football fans just look at a guy's ability and say, but after the money, no, we're 100 mil. You see me? But you can't look at it like that. All of those things come into play. So for me personally, I would say in this current market, with his influence on West Ham, being their club captain, being the main guy, he's definitely worth that 100 mil. However, you're now at Arsenal and 100 mil is still a lot of money. So you have to hit the ground running. You have to show the reason why we paid that. So it's 50-50, but yeah, I believe he's worth that.
But I think two things what you said. One, on Party, I think Party still has the ability to drive. Because if you look at him when he plays for Ghana, him drive all day, right? I think the issue is that Party had to think about with Xhaka, right? Party showed us the levels of his speed last season, right? Xhaka don't have that one day in his life. Like, yes, Xhaka can run day and night, up and down. But is he going to reach back quickly? No.
Exactly.
And Xhaka also has the issue that when Xhaka commits to a tackle, other than the referee is always going to be for his head, right? You can see it with Jorginho, but I think where Jorginho is different is that Jorginho feels like he's going to win every single challenge, right? And he also knows that he has a man like Gabriel to go mop up after him, right? Because you see, Jorginho just goes in for the ball, but Xhaka will stay behind. He's going to allow the team to come back, right? So when I look at Partey, I'm just like, was Partey really going to go and lunge in and progress the ball all the way? Because who was going to cover for him? I'm not trusting Zinchenko, right?
Yeah.
Ben White is trying to help Saka, right? And who that leave? Saliba and Gabriel in the back? Yeah, okay. Saliba was fit for how many games exactly? Right? When Partey really was getting scrutinized. So I think when you look at it like that, you kind of realize, oh, like, you just get a little bit of perspective. Now, next season with a Declan Rice, right? It's different, To even think about it, it's different. Of course, Partey can drive.
Real.
Of course, he can drive. And if it's not Partey or whoever else it is, of course, Jorginho can drive. Of course, Chenko can drive. Maybe Timber, like anybody could drive out of that midfield if you have Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. That just think about
Exactly. That's the
Fernandez,
thing.
like
If we're gonna have, I want to see that Thomas Partey Declan Rice want to see. But we're also thinking about Rice to spend 65 million on him, so you would think that he's going to be starting as well.
right.
Odegaard is a must start. That leaves someone out, right? Someone is going to be left out, whether it's Party, right? Odegaard has to start. and Havertz to spend 65 million. So it's between Rice, Partey, and Havertz. One will have to drop. But it's not really like that because we know these days we're in Champions League. It's gonna you're gonna rotate the squad and stuff like that. So I think we need to like put our minds like away from that now. But just being an old fashioned football fan, all of us want to know what's our best 11. We're gonna go into a Champions League final now. Who is going to start in that best 11? And the team is evolving. Like I know you watch a different knock, and stuff like that. He said something that every season Arteta has been here with Arsenal. We have changed the way we play. So when he just came in, like we're playing a 4-2-3-1 when he took over from Freddie Umberg as a caretaker. Then I think later down into the season, we switched to the three at the back, right?
True.
Get to the FA Cup run, stuff like that. And then we just completely revamped it. Like the next season, we're playing kind of in between 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3. That season was the horrific season. We finished eighth again. In his first season, that November period where we lost like 8, 9 matches in a row. Aubameyang scoring an own goal against Burnley. Xhaka getting a red card for choking the guy. Like, bro, that was one of the most horrific times for me. But back to the point. Things changed as well later on to the end of that season, leading into this season. Things were looking up, right? We finished poorly, but things were still looking up. Then it was a season where we finished fifth, which was last. Yeah, sorry about that last season. You could see the style of play coming in, but we just didn't have that depth. We battled top four, to be honest. And again, it was because of injuries. Who was injured in that run for Tottenham again? Partey was out.
Yeah, Partey.
Holding had to
Everybody
play.
was injured.
Yeah, Holding had to play, which means someone else was out for us. And that I just wasn't confident going into that Spurs game. If we beat them, then we just needed like a draw or so against Newcastle, but we lost, right? We also got a red card, yes, a red card as well because Holding got get 2 yellow cards. Like that. So, and at the start, at the start of last season, bro, like I was just saying, hey, Arteta, you have to prove this season. We have to give you one more chance. You have to make up for, right? The signings came in early. And the style of play, I always go back to that pre-season because the style of play, and it was the first time I was seeing Arsenal doing these things. Xhaka had interchanging. I saw Saka on the left. You remember when he just came, we were like, let the winger switch wing. Like, give him freedom. It's not working. Them only had one team.
Play Pep on the left. Play Pep on the left.
Exactly. So at the start of the preseason, I was seeing them interchanging. Jesus going to the right, Saka would fill in. Odegaard, Ben White at right back, overlapping. Saliba calm and like calm feet. You know, bro? So I was like, yo, top four secure. I wasn't expecting a type of challenge, but I did feel like top four was secure. And if we didn't get it, then we had to go. I was really thinking like that. So things evolve and the style of play evolved. And if we know Arteta as a student of tech, he's going to change. He's always going to be looking for ways to improve. So yeah, bro, I'm not even gonna try and figure out how he's gonna do it. But when he does it, then we can have deeper conversations about how we feel about it, to be honest.
And I think one of the things to think about is that Arteta is slowly following the Pep type style. And I think what people don't think about is that Pep had Messi to figure out his style with. like if you think about it, you have Messi to figure out his style with. It must work. Like at some his positional football, you have Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta one time. The style must work at some point. You really hope at some point the style is going to work, right? So for me, it's just like I think about it and I'm just like, I can't say anything. At one point, I was Arteta out, right? But now I look at him and I'm just like, yo, he's just higher understanding. You know, like when a man is just genuinely smarter than you and you just don't want to accept it. It's because Arteta has changed the way that I think about football. And I think he has changed our club from lead judges just talking all kinds of things about, like we need to play 4-4-2 and all them foolishness there, to now we're thinking about interplay. Like Arsenal's fans as a whole, our footballing IQ has gone up tremendously. Like think about what we're talking about when Wenger was there, right? Wenger was just, pass, and then hope Wilshere go and do something, hope Santi go and do something, hope Ozil go and do something. And now we're just like, all right, why you never pass there? You see the man down the channel. You see the man in the hospital. So it's like, and one of the things I'm coming around to is that one of the things that Pep does very well is that he figures out his best 11. Not 10 games in the season, not 15 games, not 20 games, but game 25.
With 10
The
games
man
to go.
figure out his best 11. And you know, see the best 11, right? Remember when Foden couldn't even touch the field?
But
And Foden walks into this Arsenal team. I don't care what anybody says. Foden walks into this Arsenal team.
I wouldn't say that.
Foden walks into this Arsenal team.
That's another conversation. I wouldn't say that.
Barris and all them man, they walk into this Arsenal team. I'm sorry. Like, I am an Arsenal fan true and true. But a man like Foden walks into this Arsenal team. I don't care. But anyway, as I'm saying, to get back to the point, I'm just saying that we'll figure out, I want us to figure out our best 11 closer to when the season is finishing. Right? We don't need to be having our best 11 playing from match 18, hoping to play until match 38. That will not work. One thing you're promised as an Arsenal fan is a season-ending injury. You know it's coming, right? So if you know it's coming, like and that's why I like what Arteta did. Did we need Timber? Not really. Like if you really think about the scope of things that were needed, was Timber 100% need? No.
I would not 100%, but I would say it gives us that added structure as someone who can play centre back and right back. Remember, Tommy and Saliba got injured last season, and though we had Ben White, that was still a problem because Ben White could go and play centre back and he could go and play right back, but it was still a problem. Tommy is actually injury prone. Saliba, he will know how a back injury is when it comes to Ozil, right, and other players. So a back injury can reoccur. So I think getting in someone who could play both roles is very important. So we would have a backup centre back and we could still have two right backs. And that backup centre back can still play right back if needed. So I think that was a signing that we needed to make. It wasn't like first choice, but I think it was something that we needed to make.
But you hear how the men right?
Yeah, bro, we're a big club now.
We need a man here. We need Declan Rice. We need Declan Rice. Any midfielder we get from now on, is extra. If it's not any striker we get from now on, the real things that we're really looking forward as Arsenal fans is that real number 9, your Ivan Toney's, your Hurricane if you're more under Sol Campbell, you have your Oshiman, like, that kind of profile, right? Your real right wing backup, right? For soccer or competition for soccer, right?
Yeah, I need as well.
Bro, we'd have to spend a whole video talking about Vera, but because I was about to say, I was like the next position that I was thinking about, right? Yeah, the other guard backup.
So he had last season. He didn't have a preseason, so I'll give him that one.
But Smith
no, he'll have a preseason. Smith Rowe is another one as well. I think he'll be playing 8. But I just want him to step up. He's so talented. He's so good. A lot of people are dissing him, and I just want him to just be fit so he can prove them wrong. Because you don't score 10 goals in the Premier League at the age of 19 if you're not good, right? And he and Saka carried that season. So yeah, bro. Time is going, so heading to the last one. Are you scared of any of the teams based on the transfers that they've had so far?
I wouldn't say that I'm scared. I think rival fans are looking at Liverpool and trying to, you know, I think they're just trying. They don't want Arsenal to succeed, and I think we can talk about one day, or we get some rival fans and ask them what them don't like about Arsenal. Like what have we really done to you guys that made you not like us? Like we haven't won any real silverware for how long? Like what we did we really do? But I say that only because you look at our team, right? We've lost, say we're talking about best 11, right? Out of our best 11, we've lost one player, right? And Saliba is back. So that's almost like a new transfer, as Arsenal fans love to say. You know, a man come back from injury, come back from loan, says a new transfer. Right. You have Pepe come back. You have Nelson just signed a new deal. You have Balogun on the bench. Him don't gone yet, so he's, to me, playing with Arsenal next season until he's gone. I think he will go, but until he's gone, I'm not going to say he's gone, right? So what exactly are you looking at? You just bought Declan Rice that all the man did rate until he was linked to Arsenal. So what exactly is stopping us from not mounting another challenge next season? Right? So to answer the question, the only possible team that I could see doing anything is Liverpool. Of course, Newcastle is there, but I don't know if Newcastle has. I think they need something else.
Yeah, they haven't done enough.
Yeah, they need something. They need. I just don't know what they need. What they just need.
Stanford and Target at left back in the Champions League. Uh, they have to show me that, like prove me wrong on that. But yeah, for me, the teams that again, I'm not scared of these teams. As we know, City will always be number one favorite. So I'm not going to talk about City. But for Liverpool, I think Liverpool they did very well in terms of like getting in those midfielders, right? I'll give them the props on that. However, I'm still skeptical about their back line. They haven't made any defensive signings. Konate, Van Dijk has been suspect.
Yep.
Matip.
Joe Gomez.
Yeah, it's a bit Joe Gomez. It's a bit stale. I think they need someone to come in right there, right? I'm seeing people talking about a three-man midfield with Trent, Szoboszlai, and McAllister. Just get that out of my face. That makes no sense. There's no hard man in that midfield. So if you're going to try and challenge with that, and I don't think Klopp will do that either. We've seen him try to invert Trent. Maybe he'll continue to do that. McAllister is a very simple man. He's creative, but he retains possession well. So I think that will help if he is trying to bring a man into the midfield and be a bit more exposed while having centre back. You won't have someone who will be giving away the ball all the time. Szoboszlai is that extra creative type of person who can create a pass, a shot, score free kicks, shoot from range. So even if they're planning to play Trent in that midfield with say a Fabinho, they can still have Szoboszlai over on the right hand side, delivering those quality crosses. To not take away too much from their game. And yeah, their front line is full of class. So we're not going to dispute against that. I think if they can sign like a proper right back, to not play Trent as much.
Pavard.
Yeah, that may be.
Pavard would be perfect.
Yeah, if they could sign, if they don't even have to sign a centre back, but if they can sign a solid right back or someone who can play both roles, that would be good. I was thinking not just Pavard, maybe Lucas Hernandez, but he went, I think, to where? PSG. He's not a right back, but he could offer that on the left hand side. Robertson is getting older. I think they just need some solid wing backs who can play centre back if needed. The window is very early. So if they can get in those signings, I think it will be a three-way race. I'm not pressing about money right now. They're making small moves, but for me, it's just not enough to be challenging with Arsenal and City right now. And if Liverpool are to come through, Newcastle will be fighting for that top four. again. I don't see them mounting a title challenge. FFP is still on like against them, right? So that's saving us right now. They still have to be watching FFP. They can't just be. They spend a lot of money on ISA on the January. Was it January? Yes, a lot of people don't remember that as well. So they kind of have to be easy now on the spending. So yeah, who else? Which other team? Tottenham is gonna be crap as usual. So
I'm
not
not
even
scared of Brighton.
I wouldn't even
Not to mount a title challenge,
yeah.
but just a full season of the Derby with all those players with so much talent.
I think they've reached their peak, to be honest. Where did they finish? 7? No, 6.
Six.
Yeah. I think that's the highest they'll ever go.
You
They're
sure?
they're a club that don't spend much, right? They spend within their means. They're not gonna overpay, they're not gonna do certain things. So at the end of the day, money talks and quality signings, they're a perfectly run club. And if they do get returners on there and decide to spend money, then sure they will climb. But for now, Villa is a good side. I think they should be in Europe next season. Emery is doing good with them. I think Brentford might be in trouble. In the of going down, no losing Tony. They just don't have that guy. He was that guy for them. Hopefully their back line, yeah, because they did have a very good defensive structure. Hopefully that can help see them through, but they might be in trouble. Burnley coming up with company. Um, they're making a few good signings.
I can't.
No, not that it's like challenging. I'm not scared of these guys, but like just going through the rest of the league. Like Burnley, they could stay up.
Madison to Tottenham is a serious deal.
No, I don't think so. If Kane is leaving, him and Kane would be good together. But if Kane is leaving, it's just gonna be back to
Yeah, but where's Kane going to go?
Bayern made a bid like today.
For 80 million? Bro,
Yeah.
the
I
man,
would say that I would like he's gonna leave on a free. When he leaves on a free, you're gonna be right back to square one. You're already outside of Europe right now. Just do it. Take the money, start building your side from now, and then you can continue in the summer, right? You're already not going to make Champions League next season, right? So, bro, I would take the money. Bro. I would seriously take the money, but yeah, I think that's where we would end it already when overtime. But yeah, that was the first episode, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Any last words, Dylan?
like, subscribe, share with your friend mother, your auntie, your uncle.
Everybody.
It was a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, bro.
The Gunnaz Podcast.